On January 31st, 2026, an 84-year-old grandmother named Nancy Guthrie had a quiet dinner with her family. By the next morning, she had completely vanished. Her daughter is the famous TV news star, Savannah Guthrie. But now, Savannah isn't telling the news. She is the one living a nightmare. The clues left behind are very strange. There were signs of a struggle on the front porch. A person in a mask was caught on a camera. And then, the family started getting messages asking for millions of dollars to bring her back. It has been 22 days and the police still haven't found Nancy. But there is one big question that everyone is asking. Why did the police suddenly go to the house of Savannah's sister, Annie Guthrie? Annie lives only 4 miles away, and she was one of the last people to see her mother that night. Why did the FBI spend hours searching Annie's property? People are wondering, what did the police find inside Annie's home? Was the family involved, or were the police just looking for more clues? In this video, we are going to look at the secret details of this case. We will talk about the masked person in the shadows and the strange messages sent to the family. We will also look at why the police focused so much on Annie's house and what that means for the search. But wait, there is one piece of evidence the police found at Annie's house that nobody expected. What you are about to see will change everything you think you know about this case. Where is Nancy Guthrie? And what is the big secret that the police are not telling us yet? Let's look at the facts. Before Nancy Guthrie was on every news channel, she was just a mother and a grandmother. Nancy lived in a very quiet and beautiful area in Arizona called the Catalina Foothills. Even though her daughter, Savannah Guthrie, is a famous TV star, Nancy lived a very simple life. She didn't care about fame. She cared about her family, her friends, and her home. Nancy is 84 years old. People who know her say she is very kind and quiet. She stayed busy and loved her daily routine. Every Sunday, you could find her at her local church. She loved her garden, and most of all, she loved being close to her children and grandchildren. Nancy's home was her favorite place. It was in a quiet neighborhood where neighbors looked out for each other. It was a place where people felt comfortable and relaxed. Her house wasn't like a huge mansion. It was simply a warm, welcoming home. It was where her grandkids would come over to play and spend time with her. But this is what makes the situation so unusual. How does someone with such a peaceful life suddenly disappear? According to reports, Nancy was known as a kind person who didn't have conflicts with anyone. To the people in her town, she was a sweet grandmother who enjoyed her quiet life. Her family is very close. Nancy has 3 children, Savannah, her brother Cameron, and her sister Annie. Annie lives only 4 miles away from Nancy. Because they lived so close, Nancy and Annie spent a lot of time together. They were very good friends as well as mother and daughter. This is why what happened on January 31st is so hard to believe. Nancy was supposed to be safe. She was with her family who loved her and in a town that respected her. When you see the photos of Nancy smiling with her grandkids, you can feel how much her family misses her right now. But as the police began to look closer at Nancy's quiet life, they started to ask questions. Did someone see her routine at church? Did someone follow her home? The world knows her as a famous reporter's mother. But to the people who live near her, she is just Nancy, the woman who always had a smile for everyone. Her disappearance has left her family and her whole town very sad. Everyone believed Nancy was safe in her calm home. But on that last night, something happened. The person who saw her last might know what really happened. To understand the truth, we need to look at her final hours. The evening started like any other happy family gathering. Nancy took a ride to her daughter Annie's house, which was only a short 4-mile drive. They were having a family game night and a nice dinner together. Annie and her husband, Tommaso, were the hosts for the evening. Everyone said it was a normal, happy Saturday night filled with laughter. At around 9:48 p.m., the night came to an end. Tommaso drove Nancy back to her own house. He told police that he watched her walk through her front door and go inside safely. This is a very important detail because it is the last time anyone officially saw Nancy. Everything seemed perfectly fine when she stepped into her home. However, during the late hours of the night, something changed. A camera near the door captured a person wearing a mask and dark clothes. This person was seen moving around the security system. By the next morning, when Nancy didn't show up for her usual church service, her family started to worry. Annie rushed over to the house and found it completely empty. The security camera had been removed from the wall, and there were signs of a struggle on the front porch. This timeline is confusing for many people. How could someone disappear so quickly after being dropped off? There were no signs that someone broke the door down, which makes people wonder if Nancy knew the person who came to her house that night. As soon as the family realized Nancy was gone, the police and the FBI started a massive search. They found a few clues right away, but these clues only led to more questions. On the front steps, they found evidence that Nancy was no longer there. They also noticed that her security camera was missing, as if someone wanted to hide what they did. One of the most high-tech clues involved a small device Nancy wears. This device sends signals to her doctors to show she is okay. The police found that the device suddenly stopped sending signals that night. This gave them a specific time for when she went missing. Sheriff Chris Nanos held a meeting with the public to explain the situation. He confirmed that they were looking for a person in a mask who was wearing a backpack. To help find Nancy, many experts joined the case. They looked at the neighborhood cameras and talked to everyone who lived nearby. Even with all these experts and the newest technology, the case remained a mystery. The police started searching the local area and the land near the home. While they were searching, they found a pair of gloves about 2 miles away. They hoped these gloves would lead them to the person in the mask, but the clues were not as simple as they hoped. Every time the police found something new, it seemed to lead back to one big question. Who would want to take a kind grandmother from her home? What you are about to see in the next part will change everything you think you know about this story. A few days after Nancy went missing, the story took a very strange turn. The family began to receive messages asking for a large amount of money. The first message asked for $6 million in a type of digital money called Bitcoin. This message was sent to news groups, and the police had to check if it was real. They found that it did come from someone who seemed to know about the situation. However, the messages started to become very confusing. A second note arrived with a different deadline and even more demands. Then, a third message came that asked for a much smaller amount of money, only about $66,000. This change was very unusual. Why would someone go from asking for millions to asking for much less? This made the experts wonder if more than one person was involved, or if the person responsible was becoming nervous. The family even spoke out in a video, telling the person that they understood the message and were ready to cooperate just to bring Nancy home. While the family was asking for help, the police made a move that surprised everyone. On the evening of February 7th, many police officers and FBI agents arrived at Annie Guthrie's house. Remember, Annie is Nancy's daughter and lives only a few miles away. The officers stayed there for over 2 hours, looking through the property and the garage. People watching saw them carrying out bags and boxes used for collecting evidence. The police also looked at the woods and the land around Annie's home. They even used special tools to check the ground. This search made a lot of people on the internet start to talk and wonder why the family's home was being checked so carefully. The experts say that in cases like this, the police have to check everyone close to the situation to make sure they don't miss any clues. Even though the police said they did not have a specific person they were blaming, the search at Annie's house remains one of the biggest mysteries of the investigation. But the most shocking part isn't what they found at the house. It's the clue they found in the desert that points to a completely different person. In the middle of all the police work and the search, a new clue appeared that gave the investigators something to think about. About 2 miles away from Nancy's home, someone found a pair of gloves. When the experts checked the gloves, they found something on them that didn't match any of the family members and were not in the police records. This means the person connected to the house that night is still unknown. There was also a backpack seen on a camera. It was a black bag that can be bought at many common stores. A private detective noticed something unusual about the person carrying it. The person moved in a careful way as if they were cautious or uncomfortable. The police also looked at a car that neighbors had seen driving slowly around the street a few weeks before Nancy went missing. All of these small pieces suggest that this event might not have been completely random. While the investigators follow these leads, the community has come together in a beautiful way. All over the town, people are putting up yellow ribbons on trees and mailboxes to show they are waiting for Nancy to come home. There are flyers in every shop and even near the border. The family has asked for everyone to keep them in their thoughts and stay positive. Savannah and her siblings have been very open about how much they need the support of the public right now. This support has turned into a massive reward of over $200,000 for any information that helps find Nancy. Friends, neighbors, and even people who have never met the family are joining together to help. They are walking through the desert areas and checking empty buildings, hoping to find any small thing that the police might have missed. The family says that knowing so many people care gives them the strength to keep going every day. Even after 22 days, the search is not stopping. There are many ideas about what happened. Some think it was someone who knew the family, while others think it was a person looking for money. But the most important thing is that Nancy is still out there, and her family is not giving up hope. They believe that with the help of the community and the new clues being found, the truth will soon come out. What you have seen today shows that this case is far from over. If you have any information, no matter how small, please reach out to the authorities. Every clue counts when a family is waiting for a miracle.